What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what really happened today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So hands down, today was one of the weirdest days in the market since I became a trader. Ultimately going up 1.05%, extending that another 1.63% after hours, 1464 the low, 1545 the high, and the only weird thing was kind of low volume. So 60 million shares being traded, 64 is the average. But ultimately, if we look at the secondary market and dark pool, you saw a lot of legitimate buying going on. So I think it just wasn't really being influenced by algorithmic trading. So that's why we had lower volume. But starting off, we did have some relatively good data. So that was optimistic. And then you did have at 9 a.m. Fed Speaker Bowman ultimately alluding to a rate cut. Market loved that, really moved higher because of that. And then you had pretty much market starting to get dragged down because Iran started to really state that, hey, we're coming after the States. We're going to be attacking any minute. Turns out it was just one location, minimal damage. The States was kind of warned ahead of time. So kind of seemed like a little bit more of a show, just say, hey, we attacked the States back because they attacked us kind of scenario. Market really moved higher because it was just not really much meat on the bones. And then this hands down was one of the quickest wars, if you want to call it that, or what conflicts, whatever the hell you want to call it. But ultimately there is a ceasefire. And so this is why you are seeing a nice push higher after hours. So crazy day, honestly, up, down, sideways. All this war kind of played out within the trading day. So kind of interesting overall. SoFi didn't put out any news, no SEC filings or anything along those lines for today. So it was just merely piggybacking off the broader market. But mind you, this was one hell of a nice recovery. So anyone who did buy the dip during the fear of getting attacked, definitely worked out for them fairly well. But aside from that, shorts did return 572,000 shares, 12.9% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 139.9 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow minimum, you're seeing that as negative once again. So it's been kind of on and off. So you're seeing some signs of manipulation a little bit, but ultimately, looking at the options, 20 million in calls, 5.41 in puts, 39% of all the options being done were bullish in nature. And this one right here, so there was 2.8 million in premiums between 135 and 140. And if we kind of look at this and orient it based on the premiums, just to see what it is, ultimately very bullish. You have a couple bearish ones right here, so it was kind of a multi-leg transaction. So 135,000 and also 75,000 as bearish. The rest seem to be very bullish. So overall, good stuff. Looks like 1650 calls and ranging from 27 to 29 cents as a premium, and that's for 2 weeks from now, so July 11th, 2025. So ultimately their break even is roughly 1675-ish. So at the end of the day, that's pretty good. So a lot more upside is anticipated. Like I said, even though over the weekend it was kind of gray on how the market was going to interpret the States attacking Iran, it so far, yeah, it worked out, and big money is definitely seeing more upside. From the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be above 16 for this week. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 14. So still, maybe they're anticipating some escalation or something like that. I'm not really sure, but with it closing at 1536, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 1556 is that key pivot. So that'll be something to watch for tomorrow. After hours, it's already above that. So 1589 and then 1643 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. And for whatever reason, if all hell does break loose, 1502 and then 1448 is going to be the next strong support level. So just kind of take a mental note of some of these, but honestly, this was a very interesting day, fastest war ever in history, and the market, honestly, I think from the get-go didn't really believe it all that much, because even during the pre-market, you had oil starting to go down. So again, people just didn't really believe that Iran was going to attack the States. But aside from that, no new analyst ratings, no articles coming out, so it was just merely piggybacking off the broader market. Aside from all that fun stuff on the actual chart, it is now above the ALMA, all the key pivotal moving averages. Stochastic RSI is rather rather neutral, but if it does continue this momentum, most likely once it gets to roughly that 1650 range, this is where it could get rather overbought. And what I mean by that is the first sign of weakness, whether it be SoFi specific or the broader market, you could see some negative volatility. Thursday, we have GDP and then PCE on Friday. Those could be some big ones to really watch for. So if the momentum does continue, those could be kind of the kryptonite for the market. But nonetheless, market seems to be really moving higher. One also thing to take note of, though, is S&P did successfully close above that 6,000 mark. That's very psychological. And in the past, it's really struggled with that. So the fact that it did close above it means that it's the market's ready to move higher. So let me know your general thoughts on SoFi. Did you buy the dip? Did you panic sell? What's your kind of general takeaway from today? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.